Hello, I want to do a brief review of week one's practice quizzes. They are ungraded, so don't worry about it. As long as you actually finished the quiz and submitted it, you'll get full credit. But the midterm exam will cover the same part of the midterm exam will cover the same material. So I just wanted to go through the quiz. And even though I hope I provided some automatic feedback in terms of correct answers, whatever, question feedback, I thought I'd go through them. Question one: the word reason has one meaning. That is false. Um, the word reason has many meanings, and at least two of which I went over in the videos. We can talk about reason in terms of the sort of reason with a capital R, meaning the capacity to reason or human reason as a characteristic of us. And there's also the more mundane reason, as in giving a reason in support of a claim. So that is false. The word reason has only one meaning. Question two gave people some problems. How many inferences are there in the following text? The answer is there are no inferences. Inferences mean reasoning. And reasoning means claiming that one thing is true on the basis of something else. There's no reasoning in this passage. All of these are just simple statements, claims, assertions, but there's no actual reasoning. And that posed a problem. I mean, there are no reasoning indicators, no inference indicators here, no conclusion or premise indicators, but that's not really that important. I mean, yeah, there could be reasoning without those things, but there's just no reasoning here. These are just simple statements, none of which have any logical dependence on the others. So the answer to this is none. There are no. Question three: if I know that all pigs are mammals and Wiggly is a pig, what can I infer? Most people got this right, that Wiggly is a mammal. And really, the question was just to sort of reinforce the proper use of the word infer, just to get you, reading that, responding to that in the correct way. That's really the real meaning behind this question, was just reinforcing the proper use of this word infer. Question four: in an argument, the premises are meant to support the conclusion. That's what premises are. If premises are reasons given in support of a conclusion, so that's that. Question five: for an argument to be good, all of its premises must be proved. That is false. Something I talked about in the video. That is that it would actually be impossible to establish all the premises of an argument. Sort of reinforcing the idea that arguments have starting points. That arguments need to start somewhere. And that means that not all premises could possibly be proved in an argument, which is an interesting thing about arguments. We try to start with premises that are plausible, likely to be true, that our audience would accept without proof, because you can't prove all your premises. Question six: is it possible for an argument to be valid but not sound? This gets into the use of valid, but I want to reinforce that in the context of talking about reasoning. This is absolutely true, because validity, strictly speaking, applies to the reasoning in an argument, which means, does the conclusion actually follow from the premises? You could certainly have an argument where that is true, but the argument wasn't sound because the premises were false. So that is absolutely true. That it's possible for an argument to be valid, but not sound. That is, it could still be a bad argument, even though the reasoning is good, because the premises are not trustworthy. Question seven: if an argument is considered inductive, even if its premises are all true, it's still possible for its conclusion to be false, which is the most reliable way in logic to distinguish between inductive and deductive arguments, where in a deductive argument, a deductively valid argument at least, if the premises are all true, the conclusion must be true as well. It wouldn't be possible for it to be false. So in an inductive argument, even if all the premises are true, and even if the reasoning is good, it's still possible for the conclusion to be false, because in an inductive argument, the conclusion follows from the premises with some degree of probability rather than necessity. Question 8. All birds can talk. Jim has ESP, therefore Trump's wig is ridiculous. The reasoning in the argument above is invalid because the conclusion doesn't follow from the premises, which is that's just correct. I mean, that is, it just doesn't follow. None of these things have really any relationship to each other. So, it's not because the premises are absurd. You can have absurd premises where you still have things that follow. So, that's just wrong. And of course, Trump wears a wig. I mean, maybe it's a weave, maybe it's a comb over. It's bizarre in any case, but we elected him. So that's the first one. Let's take a look at the second one. Second assessment. Let's look at assessment 2. Okay, question 1. The following statements are logically independent of each other, true or false. Every Philadelphian loves pretzels. Jim is a Philadelphian who doesn't love pretzels. This is false because they are not logically independent of each other. They're logically related to each other in the sense that if one of them is true, the other can't be true. So whenever you have statements, the truth or falsity of one, of which one impacts on the truth or falsity of the other, you definitely have a logical relationship. Logically independent statements are ones whose truth or falsity doesn't impact on the other. One doesn't impact on the other. Question 2: if one statement being true means another must also be true, then the one statement implies the other. And again, this is also a question that was meant to reinforce the proper use of these words imply and infer. One of the things that I really want to do is to reinforce that proper usage, that statements imply each other. It's not possible for a statement to infer another. An inference is a judgment. Keep that in mind. An inference is always a judgment. When you make that is, to make an inference is to make a judgment. So a statement can't make a judgment. A statement can imply another statement, meaning exactly this: that if one statement being true means another must also be true, then the one statement implies the other. And again, I'm really trying to reinforce this. It is correct usage to say one statement infers another. That is false. Question 4. A true statement is one that correctly says the way the world is. What method have I offered in the videos for determining whether a statement does this or not? I've offered no method. There is no method, really. Some people said common sense, which was, kind of true. It's kind of what I said, that you just have to use our common sense, but that's not a method. There is we have no method for determining the truth of a statement. We just have to sort of do our best. Question 5. Logic can be said to be the study of the rules of valid inference. What would be the opposite of a valid inference? An invalid one. We judge when we make an inference. We judge that one thing is true because another thing is true. And when the one statement actually does imply the other, our inference is valid. But sometimes we make mistakes and our inference is considered to be invalid. If Jim is a baseball fan and all baseball fans are drunks, what can I infer that Jim is a drunk? Again, reinforcing the word infer. Question 7. What you can infer from this is that Jim and I never eat on the same day, but, you can infer perhaps a number of things, but I was just trying to sort of give you some practice and reasoning there.